Donald Trump has called a secret meeting of his top generals as war once again may be imminent. I mean, the war technically hasn't stopped. There's been this charade of a ceasefire, but there is a top secret meeting taking place right now between Donald Trump and his top generals where they will be discussing further escalation, which would cause a global depression and put our troops at risk and cause massive inflation. The American people would suffer even more. Donald Trump called Iran's response to Trump's demand that Iran surrender a total piece of garbage. And Trump said, I didn't even finish reading what Iran sent me.
Here's the moment Infantino presented the award to Trump.
Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your peace prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
Call me a boomer, but these participation trophies have gone too far. There is also, Mr. President, here is your trophy. There is also a medallion. There is also a FIFA piece of ribbon.
Keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers.
Donald Trump just lost control on Truth Social. More than 50 posts in a single night. One post every few minutes for hours. The President of the United States, on the eve of the most critical foreign policy trip of a second term, sitting inside the White House residence, firing off a nonstop stream of anger at two American comedians who challenged him on live television. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, two hosts, two networks, two monologues, and the most powerful man on earth could not handle it. He could not ignore it. He could not move past it. Long after midnight, he was still awake, typing furiously into his phone, demanding punishment, attacking networks, threatening licenses, and raging online until sunrise over Washington. And the next morning, cameras captured him during an Oval Office meeting, slumped in his chair, eyes closed, appearing exhausted in front of his own staff. According to Stephen Colbert on The Late Show this week, Trump averaged one Truth Social post every few minutes the night before flying to Beijing. Colbert showed the image of Trump dozing.
Maybe you should actually try to read something, Donald. But this is a meeting that will be taking place in the Situation Room with a large group of generals, we are learning. Also in the room will be J.D. Vance, special envoy to the Middle East, Russia, and just about everywhere else. The pathetic real estate guy, Steve Witkoff, who's somehow in our government, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, and the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, are all expected. Now, as this meeting, we now know this meeting has indeed been taking place. The people at this meeting immediately rushed to their source, Barack Ravid, over at Axios, right? Trump's stenographer, Trump's outside propagandist. And here's what's now being published by his stenographers, by his regime media. Citing two U.S. officials, Axios is reporting that Donald Trump is now mulling a plan to conduct limited strikes, kind of what Netanyahu was telling him to do yesterday, against Iran in an effort to coerce them to accede to nuclear talks. Per one U.S. official, he will tune them up a bit, while another official said, I think we all know where this is going.
As president of FIFA, Infantino is the world's top authority in corruption, and he spent the last year sucking up to Trump, so much so that Trump has started recently calling him my boy.
No, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. With somebody who took pleasure in that. That to me is the absolute opposite.
Right, goes and gives the same answer of, well, the reason that we're being ghosted by Iran is that They're just so confused who their leadership is, and that's the problem. Here, play this clip.
Want to start on these negotiations between the United States and Iran. President Trump saying that the United States was anticipating a response from Iran to its latest proposal. Has Iran, in fact, responded to the United States?
I don't think we've heard a clear resolution from Iran yet. Given the state of the government in Iran, things just move slowly. Communications are difficult. There are multiple factions. This is a regime under serious stress.
Would the United States ever agree?
You know, when the Trump regime is going after Iran like this, it's all more it's just projection and confession. We don't know what the hell the Trump regime's policy is because there isn't any. Donald Trump just wakes up one day and he says this, then he says that, then he says this, then he says that. It is a constant seesawing market manipulation. And then when
does this man actually sleep? When does the President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the world's most powerful military, finally rest? And what is keeping him awake at night? Because right now, it does not appear to be China. It does not appear to be Iran. It is not the economy. It is two late-night comedians with microphones and audiences he cannot control. No matter how many threats are made, no matter how much pressure is placed on networks, Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert are still on television every night speaking openly about him. And it is pushing Donald Trump into a public meltdown unlike anything seen in modern American politics since the final days of Richard Nixon. In just a moment, I will break down everything that happened this week, including what Kimmel said on stage in New York that reportedly infuriated the White House, what Colbert did during his final weeks on air at CBS, and what Trump's late-night posting spree may reveal about the pressure surrounding the most important moment of his presidency.
Words where this is going seems to be Netanyahu's plan. That war appears to be imminent. Now, per a report, one option on the table is to strike 25% of the targets the U.S. has marked out, but hasn't yet hit. Also, what we're learning is a U.S. Navy Ohio-class nuclear-armed ballistic missile submarine identified as the USS Alaska has docked publicly in Gibraltar with the Royal Marine Security and a 200-meter exclusion zone following these statements by Donald Trump. Ohio-class submarines carry up to 20 Trident nuclear missiles, and they almost never make public port calls. They don't announce when they're going to be somewhere publicly. They're secret, but Donald Trump is announcing the location of a nuclear submarine at the same time he's been saying Iran will experience a powerful glow if they don't agree to our deal and our terms. And the U.S. Navy has indeed confirmed this nuclear-armed Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine has docked.
She brushed the drywall off her business suit and delivered a doozy of a prepared statement demanding that we stop talking about something no one was talking about.
Good afternoon. The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
Okay, how about tomorrow? Because I'm just now hearing about these lies. Can you give me a minute to catch up? You know, somewhere in the White House, Trump, he saw this happening. He spit out a whole gallon of Diet Coke and
spread so that there was now a war between Saudi Arabia and Iran where they would attack each other's desalination facilities and other petroleum facilities and crude facilities and liquefied natural gas facilities, then draw in UAE against Saudi Arabia, and then basically have this massive world war in the Middle East where Israel would try to stand back and let the Arab nations destroy themselves. And so what Prince Turki Al-Faisal says is, you know, yes, we know that Trump and Netanyahu invaded Iran, and sure, Iran then retaliated against its neighbors, which was expected, Saudi Arabia being one, but we didn't respond to Iran because we knew if we did, then it would be mutually assured destruction in the region if we escalated. And that's when Netanyahu and Trump were trying to trigger the whole time, a destruction of all of the Arab nations. And so the fact that you have Prince Turki Al Faisal saying this publicly, that the real enemy is the United States and Israel, I mean, it cuts against all of these narratives that actually with the Abraham Accords and this and that, Israel and Saudi Arabia will be working strongly together. And
if you believe independent journalism still matters at a time when major corporations are under pressure, comedians are being targeted, and television networks are facing political attacks, consider supporting America Facticity membership. It is $9 a month, less than the price of a single coffee, and every contribution helps keep this reporting alive and independent. The link is in the description below. Support the channel. Help keep this work in front of the people who need to hear it most. Now, back to the story. Let's start with Jimmy Kimmel, because what he said this year, and especially what he said Tuesday night in New York, may go down as one of the boldest public confrontations between an American entertainer and an American president in recent history. According to reporting from Deadline covering Disney's upfront presentation at the Javits Center in New York, Kimmel walked onto the stage in front of major advertisers, Disney executives, and corporate leaders whose decisions shape the...
Not speculative. They've announced the nuclear submarine is there and ready to go. A clear threat by Donald Trump of nuclear warfare and more war crimes out of this regime. Now, Iran's parliament leader, MB Ghalibaf, just responded. Our armed forces are ready to deliver a well-deserved response to any aggression, Ghalibaf explains. Mistaken strategy and mistaken decisions will always lead to mistaken results. The whole world has already figured this out. We are prepared for all options. They will be surprised. Now, Donald Trump accidentally revealed this top secret meeting of generals that was supposed to be kept secret while Donald Trump was in the Oval Office with a group of women politicians to talk about sperm. Donald Trump was talking about men's sperm count, and he had RFK Jr. say that there's a global sperm crisis right now. I did a video on this earlier. Donald Trump told the women, do not speak too long. Do not speak too long. RFK will be talking about sperm, but you do not speak too long, is what Donald Trump told the women, because I have generals waiting for me. So listen to RFK talk about sperm, and you be very quick, because I got to talk to generals. Here.
In the very place where he lives, Washington, D.C., his net approval rating is negative 80 points. The closer you get to him, the lower it goes. It's like in his bedroom, 0. He is at a 0 approval rating. Speaking of his bedroom, there was a big surprise from the White House today, even to Donald Trump. Melania emerged from the rubble of the East Wing.
So then you have Kristen Welker questioning Chris Wright, Donald Trump's energy secretary, who's one of the main spokespersons for the Trump regime on Trump's catastrophic and unlawful war. And here's what he says when Welker says, did the U.S. back away from Project Freedom because of the risk of further escalation from Iran? Is Donald Trump afraid of those Iranian fast boats, Chris Wright? Watch his response right here. Let's play it.
From Iran. Did the U.S. back away from Project Freedom because of risks of further military action?
The U.S. backed away or just suspended briefly Project Freedom because of Iran's concerns. Iran has one card. They can cause trouble in the Straits of Hormuz. They are keen to get a negotiated deal. If we open that militarily without Iran, they have no cards left. They can cause trouble in the meantime. They said, wait, let's talk. Let's get a deal. We're going to open this more quickly and a simpler.
According to Deadline's reporting, Kimmel joked that after everything he had dealt with this year, even that crowd felt easier to handle. Then, according to reporting from The Wrap, he addressed the pressure directly. Kimmel said the president had tried to come after him twice in the last 6 months. Then, he added that another way to describe it was that he had generated massive engagement across every platform imaginable. He admitted, jokingly, that he had probably cost Disney an enormous amount of money this year. Then he kept going. He criticized the FCC. He criticized CBS over the cancellation of The Late Show. He criticized the pressure campaigns aimed at silencing comedians and television hosts. He criticized the corporate fear spreading through the media industry as executives try to protect business deals, political access, and broadcasting licenses while their on-air talent continues speaking openly. And he did it calmly, directly.